Yo, what's going on guys, it is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. Today we are back with my F1 2018 career mode. We are here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and I'm looking forward to this one. This one normally is a very entertaining Grand Prix. It's always been in my career modes that I've done and hopefully we can get the same form of entertainment in this career mode. But without further ado then, let's get started into it. So first of all, the aerodynamic and the engine upgrade that we bought for last episode have arrived for this episode. Of course, those two development pieces actually failed when we initially bought them, but we obviously purchased a few more resource points to make sure that they were on the car and set in stone for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And as you can see, they are there and we are ready to get going for the first practice session here at Baku. Moving on then into the first practice session, and as you can see, things are looking very, very good for us. In the track acclimatization test, we did very, very well, and we managed to get, I think it's a green, no, it's a purple score, I think it was. Onto the tyre wear test, this one was actually quite a bit of a struggle. I was noticing that my car was sliding quite a bit. It wasn't really affecting my car. It was actually doing a great thing, but this was a really weird glitch. So I came around the end of the pit lane, and you can see that Raikkonen's just sort of, well, he's sort of just got a mind of his own. He's just got bored of being normal in life, and he's just stuck at the end of the pit lane. I don't really know what he's doing. It's a bit complicated. I don't know if he's trying to do a three-point turn, or if he's just being a bit stupid. But yeah, Raikkonen had a little bit of problem with his car. But moving on then into the qualifying simulation run, unfortunately for myself, I just broke a little bit too deep into the corner. I actually went ahead then and broke off a bit of my front wing end plate there, and that was the end of that session. Moving on then straight into qualifying now. I didn't actually show the resource point section afterwards. Oopsie daisy. But we're into the end of Q1 now, and it wasn't the best of laps for myself, but you can see that we're getting a very, very nice slipstream here from one of the Sauber cars. So we're literally getting a full pitch straight of it there. And we come across the line, and that is going to be second place for Q1. And that is us safely through into Q2. Everything expected from that. And as you can see, it was Vettel that was fastest ahead of myself, and then Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes Benz. So, so far, first blood to Ferrari in this event. Which isn't too bad. Obviously, it could be a lot worse. But heading into Q2 then, as you can see, as I stated from the previous episodes, I'm no longer going to be attempting the one-stop strategies unless I necessarily have to, whether that's down to me just having no pace or whatever. But I'm going to be sticking with the two-stop strategy. So I'm starting on the ultra soft tyres. So as you can see, we qualify in Q2 in P2 at the end there on the ultra soft tyres. So it means that we will have to start on them, which means that we're guaranteed to be doing a two-stop race, which is very, very good for us there. So that's fine. A big shock for Max Verstappen, though, who actually got knocked out of qualifying. He tried to do the super soft strategy, but it didn't actually pay off for him. So that's quite an interesting and a bit of a wake-up call there. Moving on then into Q3, I'm actually going to go ahead and take you through my lap because I was really, really happy with it, and I was just really elated by the entire lap. So as we're going towards turn 2 here, a very decent run through there, a little bit sliding on the exit, and a few people are actually asking as well, what assists and everything do I run? So for F1 2018 at the moment, I'm running with manual gears, and you can see I've got suggested gear at the bottom, so that basically shows you that as we get so close to the wall, back end slides a little bit there. But I like having the suggested gear because it just allows me to be a bit more careful with my braking points because I've not driven around every single track on the calendar without the corner racing line yet. So having suggested gear is very, very nice for me. And then I also run with low ABS. Now the reason I'm running with low and not off is because I'm not in my natural setup. I'm actually having to race slightly differently. And I'm just not quite happy with the traction coming out of the corners. Because when you run with low ABS, if you floor the throttle, you are going to notice a little bit of extra wheel spin coming off the back of the car, which is actually automatically countered by the low ABS signal. I eventually want to get off of low ABS and just go to ABS on. But that'll probably be when I get back from my holiday. To be honest, is when I'm probably going to change that. So I can be in my normal setup, in my office, and I have everything just, yeah, you know, and I'm just comfortable basically. That's kind of where I want to go with that. And then I want to change that to ABS on. So if you're wondering why I make late braking moves and I don't always lock up, that is obviously why. But I'm just out to have fun, so if that means I have to run loads and loads of assists, or even every single one of them to have fun, hey ho, that's what a game is about. But as you can see, Hamilton crosses the line, but we go ahead and actually go even faster, and that was an absolutely sensational lap for myself. I was so happy when I set that lap. And then heading into the end of Q3 now, I actually went ahead and tried to improve on my best lap. You can see that we're about a 10th down actually on my personal best, so I'd already was down on my quickest lap time, so it was that much of a good lap that I was just not able to compete with it. Eventually, I just pushed too hard in the castle section, and simulation damage is not forgiving. So I went ahead, lost my entire front wing, and you can see I actually trundled it across the line just because if I click retire from session, I didn't want anyone else to try and beat it. And as you can see, for the first time I think this season, we have got pole position in Formula 1. It is pole position for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's a front row lockout for Mercedes-Benz. The two Ferraris will line up alongside us. However, Kimi Raikkonen in the Ferrari, as you can see, has actually got a 5th-place grid penalty. So I suggest that he's put in a new gearbox. And that's going to drop him a bit further down, which is going to be a great shame for Kimi Raikkonen. Yeah, bit of a shame with that.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy. Looks like you had a great qualifying session. It must be a relief being that far up the grid. You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners? Well, thanks anyway.
Now that was actually quite an interesting answer there. So for that one, I didn't actually give Claire a response. I didn't realise until I'm editing these back, you can press B for no comment. But I decided not to answer her question, and obviously as I answered one question but not the other one, she wasn't quite as happy with it, which is quite strange.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Anthony Davidson joins me today as we look ahead to something just a little bit different. It's quite high speed for a street circuit here, isn't it? Do you think that's going to throw up any unexpected situations?
Well, as long as the teams can keep everything cool, I don't foresee any particular big issues from a technical side of things. I do expect the track to be quite slippery though. We've not exactly had much chance to rubber in the surface. Any street circuit also comes with its own challenges, so I think we'll be seeing a few mistakes here and there. The smart strategy would be to expect a safety car, I think, especially early on when the pack is bunched up.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Thomas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Hülkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo, and Magnussen, Perez, Sainz, Raikkonen, and Max Verstappen, Leclerc, Grosjean, Pierre Gasly, and Ocon. They've taken a grid penalty. Van Dorn, Ericsson, Lance Stroll, and Brendan Hartley. Sirotkin and Fernando Alonso starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Alright now, so we're on the grid here for the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and you'll see in just a moment, it is going to be a two-stop race for us. Obviously, I decided not to do the one-stop strategy, of course. As you can see, we're going to be starting on the ultra-soft tyres. We're not going to be going very long on them, probably only about 6 laps or so, and then we're going to make 2 stops onto a set of super soft tyres and get us to the end of the race. So without further ado then, let's get on with this race. We have got 4, we have now got 5 red lights here for the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And it is lights out when we go to start the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's not been the best of start for us. It's been a great start for my teammate Lewis Hamilton on the front row now. In towards turn 1, we've gone a little bit deep there to try and give us the better line and get the better exit. But Hamilton does a great job by the exit of turn 1. And he's now got the inside line down towards turn 2. I bumped the rear of his car and Lewis Hamilton takes the lead early on here in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're going to follow him now in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton and try and get this place back. Vettel under pressure from Hulkenberg now as we go down the inside in towards turn 3 here on Lewis Hamilton. Plenty of room left there for both cars, but we immediately strike back on Lewis Hamilton and retain the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We go in a little bit deep there, have to sort of correct the car just a little bit more there, but it is myself ahead of Hamilton, ahead of Sebastian Vettel onto the end of the first lap now, just catching that curb there on the rear of the corner, and that just sort of unsettled the car slightly. And now Lewis Hamilton has got a great opportunity to try and come back at us as we go flying through the left and right handers here towards the end of the lap. And now Hamilton, you can see, pretty much all behind us now as he tries to get into the slipstream of the car, forced us to go defensive actually on the straight now. Hamilton, I believe, is on the inside line here. We're going to stick to the outside line towards turn 1, but we're running in rich fuel mixture and we're running in a higher ERS mode, and down in towards turn 1, it's not actually going to work for Hamilton. In fact, it's worked better for Vettel because he's just nicked a double slipstream from myself and Hamilton, and now he's going to be fighting in towards turn 2. It's going to get tight for both these two cars because I'm in front. If I make a mistake or brake earlier, that's going to cost them as we now go down the straight here. Tactically, I placed my car in front of Lewis Hamilton to try and give him a little bit of a slipstream just to get him back in front of Vettel, but it doesn't actually work. Eventually, Vettel gets moved on Hamilton. Hamilton swapped sides to try and get to the other side and get the inside line and go for it, but it doesn't work for him. But onto the end of lap 2 here, I just clitched the curb there, and now Vettel is alongside me here. He's going to have a great run, but he's got a tight angle in towards the left and right. It's going to break early. Lovely switchback line and completely do Vettel there towards the left and right handers, and that's put him under pressure now from Hamilton, so we've really put him off. So in fact, we've given Hamilton a great opportunity to get back in front of Sebastian now as we blast down the straight. It's going to be 3 wide now as Hulkenberg gets involved in the act as well. So the Renault car, only 4 rounds into this race, is fighting with the big guns. As in towards turn 1, Hamilton's going to get pinched, but he just about holds it on in there. And Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault car has also gone ahead and just nicked the place there from Sebastian Vettel as Ricciardo now dives it down the inside of Vettel, but he just about stays with it as they now have the long drag on down the straight towards turn 3. This is going to be very close here, but Vettel, you can see, he's got more straight line speed in the Ferrari as expected, and he's also got DRS, although Ricciardo will have it too, but he still brakes a little bit later. And again, Vettel just sort of runs a bit wide there. Contact made between the two cars. Hulkenberg now pressurizing the back of Hamilton here as Ricciardo tries to go around the outside of Sebastian Vettel again. They are side by side for so long here, and they're going to keep this going at the end of the first sector. Still, they're side by side. No one's giving in on this one, but eventually Vettel sort of gives Ricciardo a squeeze to the wall there, and that should be game, set, match. They're still going side by side, but eventually heading in towards the castle section, Vettel holds on and he manages to stay in front. And on to lap 3 of the Grand Prix then, I was really struggling in the early phases to get that final corner right. I wasn't quite hitting the curb as I really wanted to, and it was really just putting me off. And you can see here, that's a lovely broadcasting shot there of me and Hamilton flying through now as Lewis is on the back of me now, and with slipstream, with DRS, and with a higher ERS mode, or with the ERS mode on overtake, doesn't actually work for him because I'm in rich mixture and I'm also using ERS overtake mode. So I am doing very well there to defend as Hamilton tries to go around the outside there, but we just about managed to fend him off. We stay in the lead of the Grand Prix, but early stages at the moment, we're under some serious pressure right now from the Mercedes cars. We look back and have a little look, and just have a look at the pack really, see what the fields are up to at the moment. And we've got a fight here though, further back as we were scrolling through. We've got Marcus Ericsson here battling with Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren. Let's see who's got the straight line speed here. This should really be a slam dunk move for Ericsson, and it is just that. Marcus Ericsson stays in front of Stoffel Van Dorn, and he retains, I'm not quite sure what position it's for, but he retains his position nonetheless, unless he was making the overtake on Van Dorn. Not quite sure on that one. But onto the 4th lap of the Grand Prix now. It's going to be an early stop for us, but we're coming in for our second. I can't talk today. I've done so many one-stop races that it's got to the point now where I've just forgotten them. But we're coming in now for the first stop of the Grand Prix. Of course, we haven't actually done a 2-stop race this season, which is really surprising to think of that. But unfortunately for us, we are going to get held in the pits because we've got to wait for Ricciardo, Vettel and Hulkenberg to get through and make their pit stop. So annoyingly, we're going to get held up, but we're not going to lose any time. Our only big concern now is going to be within our battle against Lewis Hamilton, because of course Hamilton was close behind us, and the fact that we've been held in the pits means that it's going to give Lewis Hamilton a great opportunity to basically jump us with the overcut. Sergio Perez, we just rejoined in front of Sergio there. On towards the end of the lap now, so this is the same lap. Hamilton's into the pits, but you can see on the mini-map, as we just at the fastest millisector of this race so far. So in fact, we are flying at the moment, and that purple middle sector might just be exactly what we need to try and get in front here. And Lewis Hamilton is going to have a great opportunity now. In fact, I think he's just coming towards the exit of the pits now. He is. So as we go now down in towards turn 1, we've got to get the braking zone right. Don't quite hit the apex there. But as we come out of the pits, we are just, and I mean just, in front of Lewis Hamilton. And we retain what is going to be a net P1. But we've got to wait for everybody to get out of the pits, or to get into the pits. They are on the super soft tyres in this stage of the race here. As we set the fastest middle sector once again. But this time it's not the all-time fastest. It is just a quicker middle sector. And now, as you can see here, we're under pressure from Lewis Hamilton. So once again, he is piling on even more pressure behind now as we try and have to defend once again from Lewis Hamilton. But it's which side is he going to go on? He's going to go to the outside line for his attack this time around. But you can see here on board with this very strange camera shot, because normally you'd see the helmet on the cars, but you can just see the halo this time. And in towards turn 1, Hamilton actually doesn't get the move done. So once again, I'm starting to find out that I'm running very low aero around this track here, and that is helping me significantly in the straight line. I'm currently, I believe I'm running with 4 wings, and obviously when I'm using that wing mixture, and also then the rich fuel mixture, and then also the ERS overtake, I'm very, very slippery in a straight line here as Lance Stroll tries to go down the inside of Brendan Hartley in the Toro Rosso, and now myself and Hamilton have caught up to this train here. So as you can see that I've just gone down the inside of Sergei Sorokin there. We're still concentrating on this fight, but just further back, it was Van Dorn who was in that. I think it was Van Dorn or Fernando Alonso. Then it was Sergei Sorokin with that. Now we've got Sorokin that's actually in the middle of myself and Hamilton, so already making good gains. So have a little look at Fernando Alonso, but in the castle section, you're not going to get past anyone. But as you can see it there, we've got Brendan Hartley, then Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, then myself. That's Sergei Sorokin that we just went through down the inside, and Hamilton and Vettel behind that. So already we're starting to get some breathing spaces. We have to fight through this traffic now, and it's all about who can get through it the fastest and try and least compromise their race now, as we're getting in a great tow from Fernando Alonso through this very high-speed section, down the inside, in towards this corner, and we managed to make it stick. Back end slides a little bit as we get onto the curbing quite heavily in order to make the move stick, because the AIs will turn in on you. And as you can see, in towards the final corner, we make it stick, and we're in front of Alonso. Now we've got 2 cars in front of us compared to the my main rivals that are behind me now as we start to fly through again. I love that broadcasting shot. Some of them are a bit different this year. That one is a stunning one as we fly through now here. And we've got, look at the cars behind as well. We've got Lance Stroll that blasts through Brendan Hartley. But look at that. We've got like 5 cars all trying to find a position here. But we've absolutely breezed past Hartley. We've got 3 wide moments in towards turn 1 now. Vettel gets in front of Lewis Hamilton, and he also passes one of the Haas cars. That's Kevin Magnussen. So Vettel with a great double overtake there. Crucial for the championship and crucial for the race itself, as now we've got more 3 wide moments behind. We've got Fernando Alonso, Sergei Sorokin, Sergio Perez. Raikkonen's being hounded by about 10 million cars. That must be one of the most scariest sights you could ever see in your mirrors, as now we've got one of the Force Indians trying to go around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen here, and he just about holds on. I think that's Perez. It is Sergio Perez. He manages to hold on, but look at all those cars that were going 3 wide through there. I am loving the action here today. And for Brendan Hartley, though, he's probably not liking the action so much, because now he's got Sebastian Vettel right up his backside. And as you can see, in just a minute, he's going to be passed by him. However, he has got the DRS open, and he's got slipstream from Lance Stroll. So obviously, Hartley trying to make a move for it now, but Vettel is going to try and squeeze through the middle of both of this. Another 3 wide moment. Stroll locks up, hits Vettel there. Hamilton's stuck behind all of this now, so Vettel pinched there in the middle. It's always so dangerous to go through the middle in a 3 wide moment. You sort of have your heart in your mouth there, but Vettel holds on, and his car nice and strong, and he eventually passes Hartley now. And again, Stroll tries to have a little look there on Brendan Hartley. Hamilton was trying to have a look too, but Stroll covered his line there, and now Lance Stroll trying to go on Vettel here. So Stroll gets past Brendan Hartley, and now he's trying to have a look at Sebastian Vettel with that car being slippery in the straight line. Hamilton goes down the inside of Brendan Hartley, and again, the momentum can just calm down a little bit. And on to lap 9 of the Grand Prix now. Again, just being a bit wayward in that final corner, but we're now catching up to the back of Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren. We've got Sebastian Vettel behind us, so the aim is definitely to just get on with it as we've got a yellow flag. And I think that is one of the McLarens that's out of the race in the background there. But we're in overtake mode. We're in rich mixture. We've got the DRS wide open here. This is where the Mercedes car absolutely shines. Just look how quickly we are closing in on Stoffel Van Dorn. In fact, that is also with Stoffel having the slipstream and also having the DRS on one of the Saubers. I think it is Marcus Ericsson in front of us. So we're going to have to get past the pair of them here. But I kind of don't really want to wait around that much longer. So I'm just going to sort of go down the inside here on Stoffel Van Dorn, and we make that move stick. Now we're catching up to the back of Marcus Ericsson here on lap 10 of the Grand Prix. This is for P4 in the race. Of course, these guys have not stopped yet for their first pit stop, so really we have to get past them because we both will have to make more stops. And these guys, even though they're not as quick as us, remember they're going to have to go ahead and stop earlier than us as we now go down the inside of Ericsson. Lovely move there down the inside. Back end slides a little bit, but we managed to correct that there. But obviously, if we don't make these moves stick, when they pit, they're going to have fresher tyres in us. So they'll be able to close that gap a little bit down. We'll then obviously have the fresher tyres later in the race and also newer types because they're going to have to pit for soft tyres where we'll be pitting for another set of super softs. So this time around, we're not doing the one-stop strategy. We're doing the aggressive two-stop. And already from this race, it is clear to see that it is working well for us. But despite the fact we got the move done on Marcus Ericsson, can we just say that Marcus Ericsson is an absolute lad because he has just got ahead and breezed straight past me. And as we're going towards turn 1, I've managed to brake a little bit earlier and just do a little bit of switchback line, very similar to what Verstappen did against Esteban Ocon in the Belgian Grand Prix there. But Ericsson, being an absolute god of all gods that are godly, just decided to come straight back at me. So it's just proven, even though he's in a Sauber, these AIs, they don't give a damn. They will come at you, even if you're in the best car in the grid and you're taking on one of the worst cars in the grid. Now, of course, the Sauber isn't the worst car in the grid. We know that for a fact. It's probably, it's up there as a top-tier midfield team. But obviously, it's not in the game. In the game, it's the second slowest team in the grid, which is a little bit unfair, to be honest. But eventually, there'll be a big update for F1 2018, as there was in 2017, where they'll go ahead and do the cosmetic changes to the cars. So you'll be able to see the new McLaren. Obviously, the Mercedes Benz will look different as well. And then eventually, we'll go through. But now we're on to lap 18 of the Grand Prix, and this is the scenario. Romain Grosjean is in front of us, so we need to pass him. But then about 10 seconds up the road is Max Verstappen. We need to pass Verstappen in order to win this race. At the moment, as we've got a virtual safety car, though, I'm not sure why we've got a VSC, but yeah, we need to pass Verstappen, who is the leader of this race and has done his one stop. So he is effectively the race leader, similar to where I am. So I'm going to be hunting him down for the lead of this Grand Prix, but no, we're not. That's Verstappen. So the virtual safety car was out for Max Verstappen. That's heartbreak for the Red Bull driver. We were going to have such a great fight to try and get past him, and now as the virtual safety car ends, Romain Grosjean is in a net race lead. This is full position. Grosjean needs to hold on for just 7 more laps, and he will go ahead and win this Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but on fresh tyres, on a much quicker car, and pretty much just everything else in my car is better than Grosjean's, basically. We go down the inside and we nick the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but that is such heartbreak because we would have had to push so hard because Verstappen had a really good gap on us. And as you can see, on to lap 26 of the Grand Prix now, the final lap of the race. We're now coming through the final sector here for the final time, and I'm just going to put my hands out there. I don't really care about the one stop anymore. Just proving it from that Grand Prix as I start to celebrate, you can see there that this time I am celebrating my win because this time we worked for that Grand Prix win. What a Grand Prix. That was one of the best career mode races I have ever had in a Formula 1 game. It was so much fun, so much action, so much drama in there as well. All the AIs were just absolutely going for it, and Baku, whether it's in real life or whether it's on the racetrack itself in my career mode, it is always going to provide a good race no matter what. And look at that, Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso has gone ahead and taken 3rd place, so fair play to Pierre Gasly because he's just got a podium for Toro Rosso. That just shows how crazy this race is. Ericsson scores points as well, but it's going to be an unusual looking podium because there's myself, there's Vettel, but there's Gasly in the Toro Rosso. So no other Ferrari, no other Mercedes, no other Red Bull took a podium. It was the sister team for Red Bull, Toro Rosso, up there on the top step, on the 3rd step of the podium. So what a crazy race that was. And we're just going to go ahead and celebrate. But yeah, overall, by doing this race, I just knew straight away the two-stop race is just more fun. You know, you've got to defend early on. But look at the results, though. Perez gets P4. Then it's Grosjean ahead of Hulkenberg, Van Dorn, Charles Leclerc, Ericsson, then it's one of the Red Bulls, and then it's Hamilton. So overall, Hamilton, Raikkonen and Verstappen didn't score a point today. So very, very interesting and just a crazy race overall. Having a look at the Drivers' Championship then, we've actually got quite a big lead now over Kimi Raikkonen at the top, and we've built ourselves a big lead. This is obviously due to the fact that Kimi was our closest rival, but he's just gone ahead and done a race where he hasn't scored a point, which doesn't really help his cause in the slightest. So that is an extension to our championship lead. And in the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes also extend their advantage ahead of Ferrari, and Renault are in front of Red Bull. So Red Bull are having a horrid start to the season.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. It doesn't get much better than a win at this track, does it? Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash? Appreciate your time.
So there we are, then that's the interview done with Emma there, and oh my god, I just said Emma again. I'm literally just one of those guys that's just, you know what, I'm gonna make the excuse that I'm on holiday. So yeah, I'm not in full serious mode. No, so we did the interview there with Claire, and having a look then at the race itself, you can see that we're now doing good in the rivalry against Lewis Hamilton, and we're drawing it now. So we're back on course with that rivalry, but as you can see, we're gathering our resource points for this race, and we actually got quite a lot over in total, and we also got the 400 resource points for going ahead and completing the team goal objective that they set. There it is there. So we did that in fine set. I think it was to complete one full clean race, and we got a massive boost in the reputation there with Mercedes-Benz, which is critical. But now this is quite new. So obviously in the game we were told that you can start negotiating better contract deals with your teams. So we actually have now got the opportunity for the first time this season to go ahead and negotiate a better contract with Mercedes-Benz. Now obviously in these scenarios, you are also allowed to negotiate contracts with other teams. Of course, that's not my ambition. My ambition is to probably end up maxing out the Mercedes car and just seeing how fast a fully maxed Merc can go. But I went ahead and started messing around with the whole contract progress. Every time you go ahead and submit a negotiation towards the team, you actually then have your progress bar updated. This is very clever from Mercedes because they don't tell you what your contract value is going to be before you submit it, which obviously means then what's the point in having 3 attempts if you know exactly what your value is. So once again, we've made a second failure to our negotiation, and we really need to be careful now. But I go ahead and cancel out another negotiation, and eventually there you can see the contract value drops. Negotiation was successful, and now that contract will start next weekend. But guys, that's going to be it for this episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care all. Peace.